Stability Forum, which was simply a name change from the Financial Stability, it's now the Financial Stability Board. It used to be the Financial Stability Forum, and it was a part of the Bank for International Settlements, which was a Nazi-run bank. If you want to read all about the BIS, get my book, The Rise of the Fourth Reich. And so now the idea of the Financial Stability Board is to standardize, make stable all of the economies of these G20 nations and see that they conform to the board's criteria. The chairman of the FSB is Mario Draghi, who is the governor of Italy's central bank. And before that, he was a former executive of Goldman Sachs. And then also with him was former Secretary Henry Paulson, also a former employee of Goldman Sachs. This is when you hear people say the bankers are running the world, I'm telling you, here's how, okay? And there is the control mechanism that they have. So what the Federal Stability Board does is essentially turns over financial control of our country, of the whole planet, to a handful of bankers. Too much history here. You need to learn your history though, because we're just repeating it. I mean, if you think that a modern country with educated people can't be taken over, I would simply remind you of Germany in the 1930s. The Germans at that time were among the more educated, sophisticated, and cultural people in the whole world. And look what happened when they let Hitler take over and run their economy and build up a war machine. And how did he do that? Well, let's go back and look real quick. In the 1st of January 1933, Germany was a republic, the Weimar Republic. Hitler was only a chancellor, kind of like vice president. And then what happened? The Reichstag, their parliament building, burned, okay? Which doesn't sound like a big deal today, but back then, I assure you, it was as shocking to those Germans as the World Trade Center's towers were to us. Immediately, Hitler said, this is the work of terrorists, communist terrorists. And he rammed through a piece of legislation called the Enabling Act, which essentially set him up as the central dictator. It collected under one roof all of the police agencies in Germany, which became the Gestapo. And gee, doesn't that sound familiar? We have a terrorist attack, and then we get the Patriot Act. Who voted against something called the Patriot Act? Okay, and here we go. And now all the police agencies, they're no longer here to serve and protect. They're here to carry out the wishes and desires of Homeland Security, which sounds suspiciously like fatherland security. Now, for locally, here's something you need to know about. Comprehensive Annual Financial Reports, called CAFRs. Go to your local city councils, go to your county commissioners and ask to see their comprehensive annual financial reports. Because what's happening today, folks, is when you say, well, we want to see the budget, they will show you the budget. And they'll say, okay, here's how much money we took in last year, and here's how much money these services are costing, and here's how much, oh, look, we're in the deficit, we're going to have to raise your taxes, but they're not showing you the comprehensive annual financial reports. If they did that, they'd show you the money that they've got stashed in savings accounts and in investments, et cetera, et cetera. In fact, the people who have looked into this say that virtually every state in the union has millions of dollars floating around that they're not reporting on and that they're sandbagging back. Pardon?
I said that's right.
Oh, yes, this is right. Talking about wrong things. All right. All right, quickly. Why don't you guys know about this?
We know about it.
Oh, you know about it?
We know which time we do.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I'm preaching to the choir here, aren't I?
Yeah.
Okay, well, now then let me get on my little preaching thing here. here. You need to go out and start recruiting other people. This is a great group here. And you guys got your eyes wide open. I'm giving you some facts and some statistics to show that, yes, there is centralized control and they're going for more. Why do you think they're stockpiling 1.6 billion rounds of 40 caliber ammo, which is outlawed by the military, okay? And why do you think they're stockpiling 27,000 armored vehicles? You think that's for some kind of foreign invasion? Those are for use against the American people. And why? Because the American people are waking up. Now here's the thing, you're not going to be able probably to change Washington. You're not going to be able to change Washington. It's corruption beyond repair. But you can do things locally. Learn about Cisco. Turn it down. It's all about money making anyway, with nothing but propagandizing and conditioning for collectivism in the bargain. Tell them when they say, okay, we're going to pass all these laws against the Second Amendment, just say no. Say no, you're not. All right? Get on the school board. Tell them, take Cisco back where they got it and they're not getting any more money out of your local school district. You can do that if you get elected to the school board. And if you get really fired up, then go get part of the Texas legislature. And the next time, like happened here about a year or so ago, when the Texas legislature, the Senate, 31-1, voted on a law that would cause a $2,000 fine and jail time for any TSA agent that inappropriately groped your private parts. And even the Governor Bush says, yeah, I'll sign that. All of a sudden the feds came in and said, well, if you do that, we can't guarantee airline safety, so we'll have to shut down all flights out of Texas airports. In other words, make Texas a no-fly zone. And our legislators, in their eminent cave-in-ness, said, oh, gee, well, okay. And they never even got out of committee. Now, if I'd been in charge, I'd have said, hey, okay, make us a no-fly zone. We'll just stop sending money to Washington.
That's right.
This is the oldest argument that's been going on in this country ever since the founding of the Republic. Who's going to run your life? Some bureaucrat in Washington, or worse yet, some bureaucrat in Brussels, or your own locally elected representatives and you who know best how to handle your own land use and your own local politics. I'm going to now, speaking of Brussels, the United Nations, and I think y'all know where that's going, I would like to introduce Rosa Koire. She is Executive Director of the Post Sustainability Institute. Post Sustainability. She is a forensic commercial real estate appraiser specializing in eminent domain valuation. Everybody know what eminent domain means? Yeah, that means we're going to steal your property. All right. She was a district branch chief at the California Department of Transportation for nearly 30 years, analyzing land use and property values, so she knows what she's talking about. She fought to stop a huge redevelopment project out there, and she has researched the corporate, political, financial interests behind it, and discovered Agenda 21, impacting every aspect of our life. And most of you probably all know about that, so we won't go into a detailed description. She'll probably tell you more too. Sustainable development is corporate manipulation using the green mask of environmental concern to forward a globalist plan. She speaks all around the world. She's a blogger. Her website is democratsagainstUNagenda21.com, and she's been a guest on Lynn Beck, Alex Jones, Coast to Coast, hundreds of others. And I myself am going to get a copy of her book behind the green mask, because obviously here's a woman who has done her homework, and I admire her for that, and I ask you to give an applause to her.
Let me see. There we go. All right. Good. Hi. I can't see you. I know you can see me. I'm going to except I disappeared here. Yeah. It's a magic trick. All right. Well, fun, isn't it? A lot of fun to learn this stuff. And you know what? It really is fun. Because the more you know, the better you feel, the more confident you are, the more solid you are in your information, and nobody's going to shake you off of that. And that's what you want. So, I want to tell you, first of all, I'm real glad to be in Texas, and I do thank you for not seceding, because you got the guns, right? We need you. So, you know, we have, all of us, as Americans, we have a commitment to private property rights. And we know that our fundamental private property rights extend to our bodies and our minds. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about private property. It's not just the dirt. It's everything that we care about. It's vital. This is our lives. So right now, you know, we live in a culture of emergency. Right? That's what this is all about. They're keeping us scared. We've got these technological innovations that have kind of lured all of us into a sort of addiction to our electronics, right? And suddenly data collection and assessment are part of our daily lives. So our expectations of privacy and of limits and of individual freedoms and responsibilities are definitely changing. And we're instructed to view the world in, you know, and ourselves in global terms. And most of us don't really know what that means. So that's a little bit about what I'm going to be talking about tonight. And I do want to tell you just a little about myself. I am a liberal. And I have, yes, there's somebody. I've been a registered Democrat since I was able to vote at the age of 18. And for many years, I was active in national issues, pro-choice, anti-war, and pro-gay rights. So I guarantee you, you may not like me now, but you're going to like me when I get done. So the information and conclusions that I'll be presenting to you were very difficult for me to accept because they contradicted my worldview. And, I think if I hadn't gone through the experience of being a whistleblower, an ordeal of being a whistleblower and a dissenter, I might have continued to see the world in blue and red, or in green, right? But as they say, once you've seen the magician do the trick, you never transformation. This is the agenda for the 21st century, and that's what it's called by the United Nations. It is the blueprint. It is the action plan, as they call it, to inventory and control all land, all water, all plants, all minerals, all animals, all construction, all means of production, all energy, all education, all information, and all human beings in the world.